this was an adventure. So we're gonna act like we're gonna act like I working on big board and I look, I started getting caught up. I was so focused on working. Yeah. So the QCUA stuff, like, wait a minute, this ain't went live yet. Yep. That was completely locked out of my account. So I'm about to start over, everybody, like this was on time and that I didn't just have locked out. I can't go live. My internet is not loading. Other pages are telling me that my connection was interrupted, and I'm just maintaining my calm because we got a conversation to have tonight about the swirl, right? So hey y'all, look, you can't make this stuff up. Like I'm over here having a scrap to stay on mission, on assignment, on message. Can't get into my account. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Got a couple of y'all texting me, trying to help me out. But like we say all the time here at Law for Love, when it comes to technology, we will not be defeated. So I'm just gonna maintain joy. I'm gonna count this all joy. Hey y'all, please help me out and drop a good word in the chat. What is the good word? What is the good word for today? The good word is persevere. Over here at Law for Love, I'm persevering because I am going to, at a minimum, I'm going to keep a promise that I made last week, and I am going to share some perspective about the swirl and being a sister with Negro males, and I'll tie it all into marriage and where what our future looks like as a community. I'm just going to have to log back into. I had all my windows ready. I was prepared, y'all. I hate being late. I hate even more getting kicked out of my own accounts. But we pressed on. So the good word is persevere. Y'all got a good word for me? Do I have volume? Let me see. Perseverance, yes. Diligence, yes. Yes, this too will pass. Yes, yes, yes. All of those words are great words. I love those words. And you know what I'm going to do here? I'm pulling up my notes because I do take this community service very seriously. I this assignment to families, to marriages, is so important that I made a very huge leap of faith to step out into this realm to serve families. And I'm just gonna stay 10 toes down on my assignment. So yes, this too will pass, and yes, I will persevere. And I'll tell you what else I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start this like we started on time, and like I wasn't getting kicked out of my account. So that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to act like we were on time, and that I wasn't required to persevere tonight just to get into my account. I am still, Brother Red, having the same issue with the menus in StreamYard. I told you it started getting buggy on me about three usages ago. And it's doing it right now. Just even trying to share my screen is, man, this is like gaming right now. I'm trying to shoot in the exact right spot to like shoot the little flying mushroom. But we got to sort it out. As the world swirls, family. Let's see. I had all of this prepared, of course. I'm trying to get this little thing out of here. Okay. As the world swirls. So now I'm about to act like we didn't just have to scrap for me to get in here and to serve whoever it is that this message is for tonight. Why this warfare was like this, getting this message out tonight. Oh, we're going to serve you this message tonight. So y'all pretend with me like we just went live.
Welcome to He Say, She Say, the live stream where legal principles meet the heart. I'm Shar, founder of Law for Love, the most special place in the legal system in Atlanta. And after nearly 14 years as a divorce attorney, I realized that the very same tools that we use to end marriages can actually be used to save them. So I completely changed my path and now am here to help you navigate the challenges of love, commitment, and communication. Join us as we explore how to rebuild and strengthen your marriage one conversation at a time.
All right. Welcome. Yes, Sister Patea. Disruption follows intention. And tonight, my intention is to talk about the swirl as the swirl turns. And you might be surprised the spin that I'm going to put on the swirl. So let's jump into the disclaimers. So disclaimer number one, this is a family meeting. This is a conversation from a Negro wife, sister, community member to my fellow Negroes, my brothers and my sisters. This is the intended audience for this conversation. So if you are not Negro, but you have married into our community, I want you to know I'm not ostracizing you. I'm not picking on you. I'm not trying to be mean to you, because this is a family conversation. But since you've married into the family and you're privy to this conversation, just know that this is just us being honest and real about things that have happened within our community, things that we have had to navigate. Many of us are not even consciously aware of what's going on, but you are a part of the conversation if you are a non-Negro married into the family, because you have been a part of the phenomenon that we're talking about tonight. But the things that I say are not intended to push you away, reject you, or ostracize you in any kind of way. I'm just talking to my family. When it comes to you being a Negro within our community, if you are married to someone outside of the community, this conversation is not intended to reject you, to shame you in any kind of way. This is no attack, no love lost. Again, we're just having an open and honest conversation because in my experience, especially in the world of mediation, especially in the journey that I personally took through small group community and the healing power of honesty and having the ability to be heard and to share with others. This is about healing. This conversation is about healing. So it's not about attacking or any of that nonsense. I also want to state here that race is a false construct. So any references that I may inadvertently make, and even in my own personal journey and spoken word piece that I'll be sharing, I will say white. This spoken word piece was written in 2006, y'all, nearly 20 years ago. And so just to let you know, my current paradigm and understanding is that race is a completely false construct used to keep people divided against each other. So that's what I have to say about race. I don't even believe that it's real. And skin color is a big, much ado about nothing. That's not productive for any of us. Now, the foundation of tonight's conversation is Hosea 4:6. And this verse is often referred to as my people perish for lack of knowledge. Oh, the pain is real. The pain is real. And look, I'm about to share my pain. I'm literally about to go real personal and share my pain with you. But our foundation here is Hosea 4:6. My people perish for lack of knowledge. And so this was a prophecy that was released over the nation of Israel that included that the destruction that will come for not knowing, it would cause a rejection by the Most High to us, his people, as a result of rejecting knowledge, of rejecting information, right? So tonight's conversation is really about kind of pulling back the layers on the conversation around the swirl, around interracial relationships, because I, at one point in my life, when I was dating and unmarried and noticing like the pool of available men were available Negro men was just really, really small. I had a very hard time making eye contact with Negro males in our community when I saw them in public with wives outside of our community. There was a pain there that I decided to take a personal journey and explore so that I can get an understanding. And this spoken word piece that I'm about to share with you is a part of that journey. So my prayer for you is that this discussion will enlighten us all that to the reality that we all got when it comes to conversations around race, when it comes to the pain and the difficulty and the frustration around interracial relationship, interracial marriage. And prayerfully, by having an open and honest conversation about this, we will begin the restoration process together. And that's why I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my personal journey with you. If you just give me a quick moment, I had all of my windows open and I had to reboot with my little struggle bus that I was having tonight, trying to go live. Family, this was an amazing adventure getting here and delivering this message. So I have to pull up that spoken word piece again. Man, look, when you have a love for a cause, you believe in something, something bigger than you, something bigger than your generation, you will push through and you will find a way to fight. And my commitment to my assignment in marriage and family, in relationships, in intimate spaces, look, it means that much to me because it would have been very easy to walk away from that frustration that came upon me tonight. that measure of stress that hit me just trying to go live on time, family. That was ridiculous. Looking for my spoken word piece. All right, I'm gonna need y'all to bear with me because y'all know sometimes I struggle with reading. And let me look and just make sure I'm still alive. Awesome. All right. I stand today as a representation for the organization comprised by those of ebony pigmentation, bringing a mind full of suggestions. I have some answers, yet raise a few questions like, who told white women they were better than me? Yes, a bold exclamation from this sister half-bred Jamaican who was sick and tired of faking like the mess don't bother me. You see, I have 3 brothers, one a doctor, one in school learning a profession, and the youngest is a good man doing the best that he can. My heart bleeds when I remember that cool evening in September when Dr. Black Man said to his baby sister he would never date a Black woman again. A second blow caught me in my face as my fight the power brother, a true sister lover, said that he had been dissed by Black women for too long as he began to sing a familiar song about Black women in drama, gold digging, fight picking, and ghetto baby mamas. He had been looked down upon with a bad attitude because he does not look like a hip hop rapper dude or just didn't or isn't smooth enough or spit game hard enough to get a Black woman's play. So sad, I thought, as I looked inside of myself to take inventory of this accusation against the organization of females with ebony pigmentation. And I had to confess, because looking at my younger days, I was a hot ghetto mess. When a Negro with less than 4 golds could shut his mouth. And if his Chevy had less than 4 12s in the trunk, then I called the timeout. But things were different now. And I know it was the hand of God that reached in to help, that reached in and helped me out somehow and enlightened me to the reality that superficiality was just way beneath me. Yet it hurt. As I thought of my brother's cries, the youngest of which married a Chicana wife, he said many atrocities to me about Black women. I started to ask our mama had he been dropped on his head because of some of the dumb things that he said. And I knew that the very same things they told me to justify their reasons and their choice why they did decide against an entire group with skin like mine, they shared those reasons at the bedside while laying beside their precious white delight. And rather than just telling the tale of a love that had failed, they decided to take and point the blame to cope with their disappointment and shame by suggesting that hand in hand, white was better. But I chose to differ. A man that I once knew in the land of far, far away even had tried me the exact same way. When with his trifling mess, I would no longer play up and left me for a white woman one day. Now, what caught me by surprise is how he blew her head up with a bunch of lies and gave her a false sense of pride to think more highly of herself than she ought to, just because she was white. Yet instead, after missing our bed and running around town like he was touching the head, he called me and said that it was me that he truly wanted. While she screamed and she pled, "How could you leave me for a Black woman?" You wanted to see a sister get mad? I had to fight that resentment with all that I had left of my dignity. I couldn't believe he had even tried to open those Black lips of his and tell a lie like I was a gold digger, some two-timing she nigga. When in fact, I settled to ride or die stuck right by his side despite tears that I cried up all night, suffering because he lacked his own self-identity and ended up taking it all out on me. The way he told it, because she was white and had money, was why he had chosen her. But whatever happened to judging a person based on the content of their character? Choosing a mate on any grounds aside from their individuality and mainly based on their skin color identity is just plain stupidity. Black men hurt black women who hurt black men that hurt white women that hurt white men who hurt white women that hurt black men. No need to repeat this cycle when my loving a white man is no insurance against being hurt again. I often wonder if any of my brothers realize how they have mushed my face in the dirt by the way that they handled their rejection and hurt. To tell their awesome aunt and sister that she and all others who look like her were not equal to, but worse than her vivacious vanilla counterpart. Hell yeah, please believe that mess broke my heart. And I'm conscious of how we can all play our part by being true to our own selves first and not faulting any so-called race when the truth is love hurts. And let us all start building. Speaking life is the function of our speech yielding positive change. Even if you have a partiality that you wish to state, make sure your attraction is not fueled by hate. And at that rate, we can all appreciate the truth of this colorful world that we live in. Yet the change for us all begins within. So that's my family. That's my story, family. You know, listening to my brothers, like just going in and it not dawning on them like the same women that they were talking about, they were talking to their sister. Like, bro, like, what about chopped liver? You know, very, very damaging. And so, you know, I share that because that was where I was. I was at a place where the conversation about the swirl, it used to pain me. It used to hurt me. And I had to heal from that even before meeting my own husband and getting married and kind of, you know, coming off the single market. I had to heal. I could not carry that wound into marriage, even though, you know, I married another Negro. I couldn't bring that wound because my Negro husband looks like my brothers that hurt me. And that certainly would have played itself out in our relationship had I not begun dealing with it by first acknowledging how much it hurt. And that's why, you know, I appreciated the comment, all glory. Yes, the hurt is real. And that's my reason for sharing tonight. And so, you know, these talking points about why we were divided against each other, this is stuff that everybody already knows. It's understood. I'm just having a conversation publicly. I'm just having a conversation live. I'm just inviting you to know that we all kind of think and feel and know these things. But again, expressing it and bringing it out in the open is a part of how we heal. So let's talk about it. We had the intercultural fallout, which was a part of how we were divided against each other. And this is all rooted in white supremacy, y'all. We had the colorism, the classism. We still have a lot of this stuff today, even. You know, you can try to deny it if you want, but classism evolved from the white supremacy. And what is alive and well, even today and in the economic environment, are how fraternities and sororities, you know, they create a whole nother class of who's the cool kid, right? So we have that operating even within us. And then we have the institutional interference with our relationship, Black men and Black women, or Negro men and Negro women, We who used to fight for each other, who depended on one another, who had love songs, right? But then you had these hiring policies. You had the boxing out of the Negro male out of certain type of employment and financial opportunities. One of the things that blew me away when I moved to Atlanta at this point, more than 13 years ago. How long ago I moved in? When did I move to Atlanta? About four. Well, I began visiting Atlanta more than 15 years ago, 17 years ago, when my, at that time, fiance was living here in Atlanta and I would come and visit. Well, the first time he took me downtown, I was like tripping at how many homeless people look like my family. See, growing up in South Florida, we saw homeless people, but most of the most of the homeless people were like a little bit of everybody. In fact, on the actual street and panhandling, I never seen that many. I never seen that many black men homeless, and it was really kind of like extremely upsetting to me about Atlanta, a city that's known for being a black mecca, for having all of these opportunities for black people, and some of the you know I mean foundations of black learning and institutions, and all of these men on the street. And then when you look at the uh, the frustration of the earning of the man, our Negro male, and the rolling out of the welfare program and the welfare program policies that were designed to incentivize women, yes, have children, but you can't have this man in the house and continue to receive your benefits. So we know that happened. And then after that phase of introducing our people to the consistency or the reliability of the welfare system in its various forms, then came the neo-slavery of prison policy, war on drugs, the mass incarceration of our men. And I mean, people who know me hear me go on rants all the time about constitutional slavery. It is constitutional slavery. It is slavery permitted under the Constitution of the United States. And the privatization of prisons, that whole thing, y'all, it is a belly of a beast, but it definitely created imbalances and challenges in our community in relation to how we had opportunities to meet each other, marry each other, and raise families with one another. Definitely, these things had impact from institutional interference. And then, of course, I think some of the, all of it's bad, right? I can't say one is worse than the other, but here you had the hijacking of Negro music. I say a lot of times that we used to have love music because we don't have love music no more. We don't have Anita Baker anymore. As trifling as Al Green was singing love music. He was singing about Black love, y'all. And so our music was hijacked. And we began to be infiltrated and influenced by different persona projections through media, through music, pimps and hoes culture being glorified and kind of like, constantly put before us as what we want. And, if you ask me in terms of a lot of the frustration that's existing in the manosphere and in these feminists kind of like, everybody's fighting each other, a lot of it came from the music and the media and the glorification of pimps and hoes. Like me personally, when I talk about in my spoken word piece about being ratchet, when I was a teenage, young 20s, being ratchet, man, for me growing up in Miami, who were our role models, like as young girls, really trying to find ourselves being attracted or other, people being interested in us. My role model that I had was Trina. You gave us glorified prostitutes to model ourselves after and to take on those belief systems and to pattern our lives after. And those were the type of men that we growing up, me being influenced by the Luke Skywalker culture, y'all, like that was my influence. I was at the Pac Jam, like Ratchet. And so those persona projections came very, very strongly into our community through the media. You got the nerds versus thugs, right? So like what I was saying about my second brother, he's not a nerd, but he's not a thug. He's not that dude walking around acting all tough and, picking fights with people and cursing people out in the streets. Like, he's just like, regular guy. And for someone who's been programmed like I was, especially during, the Trina and Luke age, and I can only speak about Miami music, y'all. If y'all have artists from other parts of the country, I love to know who they are and what their message was. But in South Florida, well, look, you had Biggie and what was her name? I can't even think of Lil Kim, right? So for South Florida, Luke and oh, what's the other guy's name? Trina and I can't think of his name, but they were like the Biggie and Little Kim of the South. Well, when I was growing up and when I was really adopting the value system where like a plain regular guy, a professional guy was kind of like square, you hear women who have embraced this culture and this belief system or this value system in terms of the type of men they want to be attracted to will refer to or pop the balloon on good guys, like really, really good guys. And I had, again, to go through a whole healing process to recognize the programming, to recognize that I was a part of something that was bigger and nefarious, and ended up marrying a nerd. Y'all, my husband is so nerdy, but you know what? He's everything because he's a good man. And, this ideology that I used to embrace as a younger woman, this was something that was a part of a program that I was completely unaware of. And that's why the foundation for tonight is about we perish because we don't know. It's the things that we don't know that destroy us. And then another one of the big media points that I'm making here is about The Color Purple. I didn't know for so many years. The Color Purple used to be my favorite movie. I know most of the lines in The Color Purple. If you sit and you watch The Color Purple with me, I can recite most of the lines of every character in that movie. That's how many times I've watched it. That's how much it became a part of my thinking and my mentality. And it wasn't until about 7 years ago that I became aware that this was a feminist indoctrination movie. Every Black man in that movie was an unsafe man or he was weak. It was a movie, again, that was conditioning the mind of the Negro female to see her man as unsafe, as sus, or as weak. I'm just saying, these are forces that have been pitted against us. And we used to have nothing but love for each other, family. So what is the end goal of dividing us against each other? Number one, there's the consent of our own extinction as a distinct nation of people, which we are. And this is why so many of us are pushing back on any narrative that begins our history at slave ships. No, we are a distinct nation of people. And so the swirl for me from a higher viewpoint is about extincting ourselves. And let me tell you, I've been feeling this way for a really, really long time. I was personally triggered when Cardi B was given the label as the first Black female artist to do something, whatever it was. And I remember saying to my husband, I'm like, wait a minute now, like they trying to redefine what Black females look like. He was like, no, they're not. And I'm like, no, they are. And last week I learned when watching Truth Unedited that that's exactly what happened in Argentina, why there's barely any trace of Afro-Argentinians in that nation, because they strategically and systematically extincted the Black phenome out of their population through intermarriage. The other reason why, the end goal for the swirl is that by us being broken and more preoccupied with our wounds than with healing and working together, we're not a threat. We can't be strong. We're all licking our wounds and blaming each other and pointing the finger about how this issue makes each of us feel. But again, this conversation is about the nation. Where are we going as a nation? How do we survive as a nation? How do we thrive as a nation? How do we love as a nation? How do we heal as a nation? These are the questions that I'm presenting to you tonight by talking about the swirl. Because the bottom line is that a divided people is easier to control. And when I consider how, for myself and many other young women like myself who bought into the pimps and hoes culture of the BET and the music videos and the ratchetness. I mean, it was ratchet before they started calling it ratchet, y'all. When they were experimenting on us, when they were weaponizing our sexual nature against ourselves, and then setting the course in motion within our culture for us to make all of the wrong decisions for all of the wrong reasons, only to end up hurting each other. Negro females hurting Negro males, and Negro males retaliating with a blanket rejection of Negro females who have been my brother made this statement to me nearly 12 years ago, and it has been one of the most sobering things he ever said. He said to me, he said, "Sis, you all as Black women have been weaponized against us." Man, he couldn't say anything more true than that, because I personally was a part of that army of ratchet women who was sent out to do destruction on my own future and on the future of my children and on the hearts of other Black men who are wondering, why do we treat you this way? And so the divorce pandemic and the culture of selfishness is only an extension of what began as the culture of ratchetness and the pimp and hoe and I'm just going to call it ratchet culture. What is happening right now with the divorce pandemic is the exact same thing. And when you look at it, the same divide and conquer strategy that has destroyed the nuclear Negro family is completely in full effect right now against marriages in everybody's community. It's not just a Negro issue anymore. There is a very direct, real threat, and I'm here to talk about it because all of those same things that were used to divide the Negro man and the Negro woman are continuing to play out, and people don't realize it. And it's even more infectious in this culture because of social media. With social media, you have unlimited content that fuels discontentment with yourself. You go through your feed on any social media platform, I don't care what it is, you're getting ads that are telling you what's wrong with you. They're going to tell you what's wrong with you. And so now you feeling some kind of way, and you all down in the dumps, and you losing your joy in your marriage because social media got you looking crazy and feeling crazy within yourself. Then you got social media, the algorithm is driving confirmation bias. So the same content that is telling you, yeah, you're right for feeling the way you feel, you're right for seeing it the way you see it, they're wrong, you're right. The algorithm is continually sending that mess to your For You page, confirming over and over and over again negative emotions concerning your man, your woman, your marriage, and whether or not it's worth any of the pain that you're experiencing because you're already kind of feeling discontented with yourself. This social media, I mean, shoot, at least when I was growing up, y'all, I remember a time when the TV used to turn off at when the TV went off at midnight. TV used to go off at midnight with the little pledge to allegiance and the little flag, and the TV just went off to the color bars until 6 in the morning. Those days are gone. This algorithm never sleeps. It never ever sleeps, and it is constantly confirming biases that you have based on other content that you're watching and engaging with to keep you in an emotional state of discontentment or fantasy. Social media is also constantly feeding you content that's going to fuel your discontentment with your own spouse. For husbands, it'll be content of you seeing somebody who younger, tighter, finer than the woman you married to. And have you sitting over here lusting and crusting, looking crazy, and no longer content with the woman that you made your oath to, vowed your life to, constantly bombarding your eye gates with images of something younger and sexier. And look, it's an unlimited supply. There's so many people out here naked in social media. Like at some point, does it all just start looking the same, y'all? I mean, I don't know. Look, it's not my lane. But and for wives, you got the content with the brothers out here, the pro woman brothers who they telling you about what a man should be and what a man should do, and he should be, working all day and coming home and give you the sun, the moon, the stars, and the mountain, like that stuff. And feeding you discontentment about why my husband don't talk to me like that. Why my husband don't do stuff for me like that. Or seeing pictures of a lot of women, we're susceptible to what other people are posting about their marriage. And ladies, we are notorious for taking selfies of ourselves, skipping through a field of flowers, holding hands, smiling, like everything in our marriage is perfect. And other women are feeling discontented with their husbands because of those images. And people are not keeping it real. People are not out here telling the truth. And so the same as that media influences that have divided the Negro community are now dividing husbands and wives and are now driving the epidemic of divorce. So where do we go from here, family? Like I said, none of this stuff is new. Y'all know this. I'm just making the case for the fact that we need to do something about this. So what do we do? Because the last thing that I do, I'm a strong believer that if you're going to point out the problem, don't just complain about the problem. Let's start figuring out a way forward. Because again, we really already knew this. I'm just articulating it in a way for us to be consciously aware of the forces that have defeated our families in the past and that are threatening our families right now and in the future to come. And the big thing here, again, like what I shared with you about my journey through really kind of looking at all three of my brothers, y'all, just gave up on Black women. Like, y'all, it would have been so easy for me to like just go in and be angry with Black men over that experience. And a lot of us, we do that. Whether you be a Negro male, whether or not you be a Negro female, we're looking at each other, pointing fingers, and we're blaming because we all played a part in one way or another. And instead of, whose fault is it? How did we get here? One of the biggest things I can tell you right now as a mediator between families that are fighting is that the blame game fixes nothing. It fixes nothing. And that's why I'm here just wanting to acknowledge what we all have experienced from the voices of my brothers and from my own voice and from what many of you have kind of felt or noticed or observed. Because, okay, what if you get the first place prize? Okay, women, you hurt worse than the men. Okay, you get first place. Now what? The same thing for you, men. You hurt more than women. What are we gaining together by fighting with each other over who hurts the most? That's not gonna do it either. Because here's how I think, and this is why I'm making the case tonight for healing and reconciliation. What if this is all about building up a culture where men completely abandon women, not just Black men abandoning Black women, but men just getting so fed up with this narrative of, getting married and getting robbed, getting married and getting cheated on, picking the wrong woman, getting taken to the bank, all this stuff. These angry moms who withhold the kids, like that world. What if it's eventually leading to a world where just men just give up on love? I don't even want a woman no more. And women do the same thing. Y'all, what if all of this is really about some Westworld type stuff? Like for real, they're working on the little body parts and or human boyfriend, what do you want to call them? The dolls, the lifelike dolls. That's why I'm using the Westworld here. Lifelike, look like a human, feel like a human. Don't be selling out and disrespecting you like a human does. You could turn it off and turn it on when you want. What if that's really the agenda? As crazy as this may sound, what if all of this dividing of our intimate spaces is really about getting us to a place where we're not even repopulating the earth anymore as humans? What if none of this is about your individual feelings, your happiness? What if it's more about the complete destruction and obliteration of your community? Would it be worth it to you to reconcile our differences? That's my question to you, my brothers. That's my question to you, my sisters. Yes, I am speaking to the Negro family because that's the community that I'm in. Again, not to the exclusion of others. If you married in, you part of the family, and that means you need to understand these are the conversations that we need to have with one another. This is how we need to heal one another. Would it be worth to you if the end goal is that they really just trying to destroy humanity? They really just trying to bring us down to a level that's easier to control because, y'all Negroes, y'all got a reputation for being very, very reproductive. You create numbers that are harder to control, to manage and to track, because we're looking at a future of control. We're looking at a future that, simply by turning off my internet can make it difficult for me to go live tonight. What if that's where this is leading? So acknowledging that we're all hurting is where we start. That's how healing starts. Knowing that our men are hurting and the face of that hurt looks like a Negro female. We need to acknowledge that so you, my brothers, can begin to heal. And my request from the brothers is to acknowledge how much we hurt when those of us who have been, out here championing our community, holding our men down, doing everything that we can to help you out. Because I'll go ahead and take an L and admit that I was a part of the Ratchet Club. I was on Team Ratchet, but I came to an awareness I realized that there was a programming taking place in the music. And then I got on a team with praising and supporting and championing my brothers in your plight. So my request for you is to also acknowledge how we as Negro females, we hurt when we hear you lumping us in this big category of good for nothing. The same way my brothers did, not realizing how much it hurt. Even, I mean, my brother's like, you talking to me about other women, like you weren't thinking about how much that hurt. I'm asking you to develop an awareness about that because we we equally carry wounds from words. And we should all be more intentional and mindful about the things that we say about one another. So are you ready to do what it takes for us all to heal together? Are you ready to do your part wherever you are in the community? Y'all know I struggle with these with these comments. I'm gonna try to see where y'all at. I do have the link in here for anybody who wants to chit chat, especially after this stress that I got up in here. If the end goal is to erase all humanity, that would be like an apostasy. Yah and his word is creation. That's true. I'm saying that that's their goal. I'm not saying that they would succeed. Ain't gonna happen. This earth was made for us, which is why I'm out here scrapping to be out here to talk about this stuff. This is happening in East Asia. What? That's what I'm saying. Like, wasn't there this guy who called himself Mary in the Ocean? Like, y'all look, when this stuff comes on the news, it kind of seems like bizarre. It's like, like, look, somebody crazy. But y'all, I think I saw 5 episodes of Westworld, and I couldn't help but think, like, this what these people planning. Whoever is controlling these things that are influencing us the most, I think that's their end game, y'all. Oh, is Brother Walt clowning in the chat? Hey, greetings, Team Truth. Yes. Thank you. See, Sister Princess, I was down there getting my treat daddy a treat. Oh, treat daddy dollar. Yes, that was the South's version of Biggie and Lil Kim. Just giving us the worst images of ourselves. Oh my goodness. Oh, I see Brother Watt over here clowning. I see you clowning, Brother Watt. Oh goodness. Y'all are funny. What's this? My brother said the same thing, that he would never date a Black woman and how loud they are, not realizing that his sisters are Black women and telling us to our faces. That's like the confusing part of it, because your brother just see you as his sister. He don't see you as like he can hurt your feelings by what he's saying about other women that look like you. And yes, a lot of us are loud. And I had to learn how to celebrate loudness. In fact, there was a time where I used to feel ashamed of being loud. And I had to recognize that, there must be a reason why I'm loud. Like, of course, you learn how to manage your loudness based on what your environment is, but to just not be loud because somebody else is put in some kind of negative connotation on loud. Who said loud was bad? Why is loud bad? Are we supposed to be walking around whispering? Like, I don't know. Now, there's loud and obnoxious, and then there's loud because you're just having fun. And that's what I'm saying, Brother Walt. My baby is loud, right? And so, like, my baby is loud. And I'm very careful not to make him feel ashamed about it. We are training him how to manage his volume. He has to use his inside voice. And we can't be in the restaurant loud like that. When we're at our table, your voice should only go, to the bounds of our table. So we train him in managing his volume, but I don't want him to ever feel ashamed that he's naturally loud. The quiet place, yes, we are training up our child in the way he should go. And as far as I'm concerned, culturally, we're loud. Like, what did they do? They had that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? And what did they do in that movie? They showed you a group of people who were not Negro, who culturally embraced being loud. Their family was loud, and then they were very kind of like put off by the husband's family for being, they called the husband's family dry toast because they were quiet and they were not loud and rambunctious. And culturally, they enjoyed getting together, being loud and talking trash. Why is that a bad thing? Like, I'm trying to think about it now. What would a game of spades or dominoes be like if we weren't loud? Like, for real. If we didn't get loud during a spades or a dominoes game, would it be as fun if somebody was slamming dominoes, bluffing, talking trash across the table, and getting loud with their trash talk? I'm just saying for the culture. So, y'all, I hope and pray that this conversation gets where it has to go. I hope and pray that it blesses and encourages you in terms of your worldview. The more I learn, the more I realize that skin color is a red herring. Skin color is a false flag. Skin color has us fighting, especially when it comes to the fact that our people are so diverse in terms of how our phenotype shows up. So the last thing I want to do is get caught up on someone's skin color and look at the bigger issue of why we're being divided in the first place. So with that, I love you all. Thank you for enduring and persevering with me tonight as we work through our technical challenges. And we're going to press on and continue to spread the love and awareness that helps keep our family strong. Don't get got by social media out here, to my married folk, and find ways to appreciate and enjoy something that you can be thankful for, something that you can give gratitude about yourself, about your husband, your wife, about your marriage, about the way that you connected with one another, and never allow discontentment or forces outside of you influence you against your own best interests and the best interests of our community at large. Love you all and look forward to doing this again next week.